Chad, are you ready for me to start?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay, I just didn't know if we were still trying to get somebody on. Good evening, board members and guests. This is Scott Bull, the Vice Chair of the Arkansas Workforce Development Board. I ask that each person participating virtually mute your computer and telephone when you are not speaking. This will assist in preventing interference from background noises. I will ask the staff to conduct a roll call to determine if we have a quorum and to begin recording this meeting. Board members, please respond present when your name is called. For the proxy representatives, please respond by stating proxy followed by your name for the record when you hear your board member's name called. Staff.
Thomas Anderson. Joseph Baxter.
Proxy, Christy Lamas.
Lynn Blaylock. Karen Brashears.
Present.
Scott Bull.
Present.
Dr. Sharice Childers.
Present.
Miles Crawford.
Present.
Judge Brandon Ellison.
Present.
Randy Finnegan.
Present.
Jeff Griffin. Randy Henderson. Abby Houseworth.
Present.
Governor Asa Hutchinson. Rebecca Ives. Charles Johnson. Johnny Key.
Proxy, Aaron Franks.
Candace Lawrence.
Present.
Holly Little. Dr. Maria Markham.
Proxy, Alicia Lewis.
Brian Marsh. Dr. Trina Miles.
Proxy, Bridget Kleiner.
George Nunnally. Secretary Mike Preston. Dr. Julie Roberson.
Present.
Mayor James Sanders. Kelly Sharp.
Present.
Dr. Cassandra Stokes.
Present.
Robert Thorne. All right, we have a quorum.
Now that the staff has confirmed that we have a quorum, I call the full board meeting of the Arkansas Workforce Development Board to order, excuse me. Okay, okay. To order on this 19th day of April, 2022 at 10:07 a.m. Welcome, board members and guests. For the public who are joining us today, the Arkansas Workforce Development Board will provide an opportunity for the public to address the board later in the agenda before announcements. Before we start with the agenda, I'm not sure if you noticed a new name on the quorum roll call. It is my pleasure to introduce the newest member of the Arkansas Workforce Development Board, Mr. Miles Crawford. I think we're lucky to have Mr. Crawford because he comes to us with a surplus of experience from his time spent serving on Western's local board and even served as the chairman for that board for a few years. Mr. Crawford, would you like to make any comments before we proceed?
I'm just excited to be a part of the group and looking forward to making a difference and working with everybody. Good to know you guys a little bit as we go.
All right, thanks, Miles. Welcome and glad to have you on the board. I would now like to draw your attention to agenda item 1, minutes of the January 25th, 2022 meeting. You will find the meeting minutes in your agenda pack for review and approval. Does anyone have any corrections to the report after your review? Okay, do I hear a motion to approve the minutes? Please state your name for the record.
So moved by Kelly Sharp.
Do I hear a
Second by
second?
Karen Bashirs.
Okay, the motion by Mr. Sharp and the second by Mrs. Bashirs. I will now ask staff to conduct a roll call to record your votes for the motion. Members, please respond with A or nay or abstain when your name is called. Proxy representatives, please respond by stating proxy followed by your name for the record when you hear your board member's name called.
Thomas Anderson. Joseph Baxter,
Proxy Christy Lamas, aye.
Lynn Blaylock,
Aye.
Karen Bashirs, Scott Bull,
Aye.
Dr. Sharice Childers,
Aye.
Miles Crawford,
Aye.
Judge Brandon Ellison,
Aye.
Randy Finnegan,
Aye.
Jeff Griffin, Randy Henderson, Abby Houseworth,
Aye.
Governor Asa Hutchinson, Rebecca Ives,
Aye.
Charles Johnson, Johnny Key,
Proxy Aaron Franks, aye.
Candace Lawrence,
Aye.
Holly Little, Dr. Maria Markham,
Proxy Alicia Lewis, aye.
Brian Marsh, Dr. Trina Miles,
Proxy Bridget Kreiner, aye.
George Nunnally,
Aye.
Secretary Mike Preston, Dr. Julie Robertson,
Aye.
Mayor James Sanders, Kelly Sharp,
Aye.
Dr. Cassandra Stokes,
Aye.
Robert Thorne.
Aye.
So the motion,
Motion passes.
the minutes are approved. The next item for approval is the minutes of the executive committee meeting that took place on March the 11th, 2022. You will find the meeting minutes in your agenda book for review and approval. Are there any corrections for this item? If there are no corrections, I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes. State your name again. Anyone?
This is Karen Brashears. I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay, thanks, Karen. And
Julie Robertson, I'll second.
okay, and thank you, Ms. Robertson. Do I hear, let's see, I will now ask staff to conduct a roll call to record your vote for this motion. Board members, please respond aye for or nay or abstain when your name is called. Proxy representatives, please respond by stating proxy followed by your name for the record when you hear your board member's name called.
Thomas Anderson, Joseph Baxter,
Proxy Christy Lamas. Aye.
Lynn Blaylock,
Aye.
Karen Brashears,
Aye.
Scott Bull,
Aye.
Dr. Sharice Childers,
Aye.
Miles Crawford,
Aye.
Judge Brandon Ellison,
Aye.
Randy Finnegan,
Aye.
Jeff Griffin, Randy Henderson, Abby Houseworth,
Aye.
Governor Asa Hutchinson, Rebecca Ives,
Aye.
Charles Johnson, Johnny Key,
Proxy Aaron Franks, aye.
Candace Lawrence,
Aye.
Holly Little, Dr. Maria Markham,
Proxy Alicia Lewis, aye.
Brian Marsh, Dr. Trina Miles,
Proxy Bridget Kreiner, aye.
George Nunley,
Aye.
Secretary Mike Preston, Dr. Julie Robertson,
Aye.
Mayor James Sanders, Kelly Sharp,
Aye.
Dr. Cassandra Stokes,
Aye.
and Robert Thorne.
Aye.
That motion passes. Since Chairman Anderson's not here today, I have the privilege and honor of chairing my last meeting of the Arkansas Workforce Development Board. And I get to use the place usually reserved for comments from the chairman to say something that will hopefully express my deep gratitude to Governor Hutchinson for allowing me to serve the state by contributing my thoughts about workforce for the last 8 years. While Governor Hutchinson was in his first campaign 8 years ago, I had about 5 opportunities to grab him at social events and tell him about the serious challenges that were facing manufacturers across the United States. Finding technically trained associates was our #1 issue. I think after he was elected, he decided to give everyone who was telling him what to do a chance to get involved and contribute to the solution. So I received an appointment to this board. I think the majority of you are probably in that same boat. I can tell you that I have enjoyed my time here. I have made some great friends and serious acquaintances. I have a sincere appreciation for what the Division of Workforce Services does. I have seen selfless dedication, a love and care for the disadvantaged, the disabled, and the unfortunate. If the state of Arkansas has a heart, this is where it resides. This is where our citizens get a second, third, and fourth chance. I want to thank all of you for putting your arm around a single mother and helping her find a job, get training, find daycare and transportation, for retraining fathers whose manufacturing plants closed and who thought there was no hope. You gave him hope and a chance to feed his 3 children and his wife. For coming alongside a disabled veteran with PTSD, getting medical help, training in a skill, a second chance to be self-reliant, for building pride into our citizens who had lost all their pride. This is what Workforce Services is about. And then now, over the last 8 years, you got a chance to teach an old football player and a CEO how the state of Arkansas loves its people. Thank you for this experience and for teaching me about the heart of Arkansas. Now let's move on to more important stuff. Hang on, guys. So next we will hear from the Division of Workforce Services Director, Dr. Charisse Childers, for the director's report.
Thank you, Scott, and thank you for your leadership and your commitment to this board and to the state for years of service. I know that I've worked with you on several items of importance to you and to our state, and I appreciate your commitment, and I hope that you'll stay engaged and continue to respond to and provide us with information that will help us be stronger and better in developing our workforce in Arkansas. So thank you for your interest and your time. I'll go on with my director's report today.
You are welcome.
Thank you, Scott. I'll go on with my director's report for today. For our meeting, I'll report that that Arkansas's unemployment rate remains stable at 3.1% in March. I'll follow that to say that recently a report and a PowerPoint presentation was put together by our Bureau of Labor Statistics Department with Kara Benton leading that effort. I think that Chad Brown shared that with you, Understanding Labor Force Participation. And so this is a report that our BLS group did several years ago, and we updated it recently, and then had a presentation to the agencies of workforce services, including rehab services, services for the blind, adult ed, and also AEDC. That video is available. The video of that presentation is available on the Workforce Board YouTube site. And I believe that Chad sent that out to all of you. If not, we'll make sure that we get the report and the video link out to you soon. I think that will inform you and provide you with information that will help you understand, one, the unemployment rate, two, understand the labor participation rate and the factors that contribute to the low unemployment rate, but most importantly, our low labor participation rate, which we as a state need to improve. You have seen many articles. I'm sure you can't go really a day without seeing an article such as Arkansas employers still struggling to find key workers despite record low unemployment. Another, many Americans are struggling and we need better information. I mean, those are some of the headlines that you are probably seeing in the news and in several editorials. Just recently, the Workforce Information Advisory Council asked the Secretary of Labor to improve our data and information on the changing nature of work by establishing a working group. And so the Office of Assistant Secretary for Policy has convened a cross-department working group on the future of workers. That's at the United States Department of Labor at the Secretary's level. This includes work streams related to workforce, the changing employment structures and the changing classification of workers, the impact of technology on workers and working conditions, and training and job quality. Part of this effort includes a better understanding of data, our data collection opportunities, including those around the changing working conditions, which we've all seen and experienced through the pandemic. Also, I encourage you to read the most recent Arkansas Division of Workforce Services annual report from 2021. That was just printed and published. That is available on the ADWS site. And again, if you have not received that, we'll make sure that we send that out to you after the meeting. So that will give you an update on calendar year 2021 for ADWS and all the divisions. I will turn it back over to you, Scott, for the balance of the agenda, unless there are questions by anyone, any members of the board. Thank you for your time.
So does anybody have any comments or questions for Dr. Childers? Okay, so thank you, Dr. Childers, for those comments. Next,
Thank you, Scott.
Sure. Next, I would like to ask the Assistant Director of Employment Services, Eddie Thomas, to provide his report to the board.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Vice Chair Bull. Good morning to the board and to everyone in attendance on today. I have a few announcements that we would like to share on behalf of employment assistance. I'll take a second just to share my screen, if you'll bear with me. We'll begin while I'm doing that with the announcement that we will have our WIOA 2020 Spring Partners Meeting beginning today, Tuesday, April the 19th through Thursday, April the 21st. The meeting will convene virtually. If you have not signed up for that and you would like to attend, please send us an email and we will make sure that you are included on that. Additionally, we have about 400 plus attendees who will represent all titles of WIOA and our various partners throughout our programs. One of the things that we definitely want to share with you guys, and I'll send this out later, I'm having trouble with my screen, but WIOA Title 1B enrollments, we did a graph or a chart that shows our enrollments from over the last 4 program years. We're seeing and noticing a significant decrease in some of our enrollments through our adult dislocated worker and youth programs. In PY18, there were a total of 2,354 enrollments across all categories. In PY19, the number was 2,149. PY20, 1,713, and PY21, 1,554. And so again, we're seeing a significant decrease in enrollments. And so we're looking to see how to address outreach as a strategy to enroll more participants. We know with the pandemic and with other things going on with the workforce market right now, we know that there are challenges, but our unit is working with the local areas and local boards to make sure that we are providing those services and making those services aware to our general public. And so we will share those data and that report with you following this meeting. Additionally, WIOA state plan modifications. As you know, our state plan was submitted on March the 15th, 2022, as deadline by USDOL. We have started receiving feedback. DOL has requested some corrections to specific parts of the plan. And then they've also asked that we expound a little bit more in certain areas related to our service delivery strategy. And so staff of ADWS will be reaching out to board members as well as our partners to get more information and collaboration on that information. Also included on this agenda, Mr. Elroy Willoughby will be providing an overview of that state plan modification and some of the significant changes in that. And so I won't go into further detail with that, but I do want to make mention of that. Additionally, one of always the hot topics within our unit is WIOA monitoring. We know that there are sometimes concerns from local boards, from chief elected officials and workforce development board members. And so a few updates on that regarding what we're doing to better streamline that system. Over the last few quarters, we have updated our monitoring procedures to reflect transparent and a more visible way the way we do things on the program and fiscal area of WIOA monitoring. During PY21, we've launched at least 2 pilots that are going to help us to evaluate how we not only write those reports, but how also they are approved and reviewed. And so we're hoping to see some changes significantly within those monitoring reports because of these pilots. Additionally, our staff will be receiving more professional development as well as training on the local area. The local areas have been really engaged with a project called WIOA Training Academy, and it's a peer-to-peer learning cohort where staff of the local workforce development boards are providing training to each other with local leaders providing the training supported by the state. Also, members of staff of the Arkansas Division of Workforce Services will be traveling to a conference in Las Vegas on next month to learn more about different service delivery strategies, to help better serve in their regional advisor roles. Additionally, USDOL is working with the Arkansas Division of Workforce Services to provide a USDOL monitoring TAT session. During this session, state staff will be working directly with USDOL to find best practices and to also review and evaluate some of our procedures on how we do things from the monitoring standpoint. We feel like this will better streamline, again, the way we do things and help us to more efficiently and effectively carry out our functions of monitoring and audited on the state level. A few policies that are in the work now. We have the state funding mechanism policies that are coming up. This policy is designed to lay out the procedures in which if there's a local area, a local board and partners who cannot agree to the terms of the infrastructure funding agreement, then the governor comes in and he makes that decision and walks the partners through that process. And so that's in a queue now and will be presented to you probably at the next quarterly meeting. Additionally, services for the youth policy, we're going to be focusing more on stipends and incentives for youth. And so that's in the queue and it will be presented for you soon as well. Also, the eligible training provider policy, we know that there's significant changes in that policy and in those procedures based on DOL performance reporting requirements. Ms. Deputy Beverly Lovett has been working really closely with the Division of Informational Systems and our former AD, Chris Jones, on rolling out some data and some procedures on how we can better present that information to training providers. And so those policies will be presented to you as quickly as possible for your feedback and for your review. Again, as a reminder, some of our policies that we'll have on the agenda, some are strategic and some are administrative. Those administrative will be presented for informational only, and those strategic policies will require the approval of the board. With one of those administrative policies on your agenda today, you will notice high poverty areas for youth issuance that was released on March the 31st. It is one that is included on the agenda, and we have sent that out with your packet. If you have any questions, we will be happy to address any of those. Given the update also on the Reimagine program, it's the U.S. Department of Education grant that was awarded to Arkansas in the amount of $13.5 million. The grant period is from October the 1st, 2020 to September the 30th, 2023. Right now, there are 700 plus enrollments, and we're partnering with the U of A Global Campus, as well as Shorter College and IDATIFY. The team is currently right now in the middle of monitoring the subrecipients to identify any best practices, as well as any challenges or issues that we have noted during the award. From a budgetary standpoint, again, we were awarded $13.5 million. Right now, the expenditures for the state are $1.7 million, with the remaining balance of $11 million. And so, as you can see there, we're running really behind on our projected totals for budget. And it's broken down into both the state and then each subrecipient, Shorter College and University of Arkansas Global Campus. And we'll be happy to provide those data and those stats to you for further review. Additionally, one more discretionary grant that I'll mention, the Workforce Data Quality Initiative. grant was awarded through the Department of Labor in conjunction with the Department of Labor to the Arkansas Division of Workforce Service in the amount of $2.5 million. On today, this afternoon, we will hear an in-depth presentation from Chris Jones, who will give us an update on that particular program and that project. Just to kind of give you a little background, the Workforce Data Equality Initiative is a collaborative partnership at the federal level between the Departments of Labor and the Department of Education. WDQI supports the development of or enhancements to longitudinal administrative databases that integrate workforce data and education data. Again, for a detailed report and presentation on that, we invite you to attend the partners meeting on this afternoon at 1:00 p.m. Really good information that will be shared there. And finally, one of the things that I would like to mention is that Director Brown and I have been running around to different local levels, just talking with chief elected officials, local boards, and key stakeholders. And we learned that in the Eastern Arkansas workforce development area, Mr. Dave Brady, who is a longtime workforce development stakeholder, will be retiring at the end of this program year. And so we thank Dave for his contribution to our workforce development system. I think it's been over 20 plus years that he's been around, and we know that Dave does an excellent job, and we hate to see him leave, but we do congratulate him on his retirement, and we're looking forward to work with him in the months to come. Chairman Bull, that concludes my report. I'll be happy to entertain any questions.
Eddie, that was a great report. Any comments or questions for Assistant Director Thomas? Okay, then thank you, Mr. Thomas.
Thank you.
Moving to the report of the board director, I will now ask Board Director Chad Brown to present his report.
Thank you, Vice Chairman Bull and members of the board. I don't know if it's a good thing or bad thing of letting Dr. Childers and AD Thomas go first, because they cut out a lot of what I'm going to talk about in my director's report. So I guess it could be a good thing. So before I get started, Vice Chairman Bull, I want to acknowledge you and thank you for serving on this board for the amount of time that you have. I've definitely enjoyed getting to know you. I don't know if anybody knows this, but my first interaction with Vice Chairman Bull is when he chaired the last board meeting. And I sent him a random text because he had Boston Red Sox memorabilia in the background. And I asked him, I said, I hope nobody holds it against you that you're a Red Sox fan. And then from then on, our text string just went on and on. So thank you, Vice Chairman Bull. Thank you for everything you did, and hope you enjoy your retirement and everything you have going for you.
Well, you know, hey, Chad, from now on, you're going to be known as the big lefty to me.
So moving on with my report, thank you, Mr. Bull. Moving on to my report, as Eddie mentioned, Eddie Thomas, he and I have been traveling around the state and trying to meet with all the local areas. We try to do this in conjunction with their board meetings. So we can go and support the local areas, meet all the local board members, and afterwards, our goal is to sit down and meet with the local director, the executive director, the board chair, and the CEO. Our main purpose for doing that, one, is to get to know everybody, and our second purpose is to see what we can do better as a partner, find out what those issues are, see if we can work on them, and see if there's anything that we can implement to make the partnership between this entire workforce system work better. We've already met with 5. We've canceled 2 on, one was my fault, and one Mayor Scott, he had some other business to take care of. We've got one scheduled on June 9th. And like I said, that's in conjunction with their board meeting. And we're still waiting to hear back from 2. And then that should finalize me and AD Thomas's road trips. Moving on with my report, board's got some social media accounts. The Facebook account moving slowly, as I expected. The Twitter account, that's gaining some traction. And for the board's knowledge, we've also created a YouTube account. So on this YouTube account, Dr. Childers referenced the labor statistics or the labor participation report and the video that was done and the training that was done. So anytime you want to find that stuff, you can find the board meetings, any type of trainings that we do here at DWS or with local partners, and any presentations that we may have. I'm putting those out on our YouTube page. So you can always find that stuff. If you don't know what it is, if I have sent you an email before, then there's 3 or 4 icons at the bottom of my signature line. Click on it, and that'll take you to those social media accounts. Next on my report, Chairman Anderson, AD Thomas, and I, we went to NGA's Workforce Conference in Washington, D.C. That took place on January 26th through the 29th. Great conference as always. NGA does a great job, which is the National Governors Association. They always do a great job in putting on these conferences. But my favorite part is getting to know the colleagues, our colleagues around the country that do the same things that we do. It's good to know that they have the same struggles that we have. So we can pick each other's brains and figure out what works and what doesn't, and hopefully we can figure out how to make it better. Next on my report are agenda items for board meetings. Keep in mind that this board serves to assist the governor in those functions that are set out in legislation. If there's anything that you guys would like to see on the agenda that can help you, please let me know. I'm open to any suggestion to make these board meetings better. And if you have any ideas or you want to see something from any of the partners, please let me know and we'll be happy to do that. The last thing on my agenda is Chairman Anderson and I, we're still brainstorming the virtual versus in-person board meetings. It's something that we're talking about. I've also reached out to the local areas to see what they're doing. 2 or 3 of the areas, they're following the state board's lead on going forward with in-person versus virtual meetings or hybrids. A couple of them are doing in-person meetings, and there's a couple of them that are doing hybrids. So that's something that we're going to talk about. Haven't figured out really what direction we want to go. I would love to go back to in-person meetings. I think the benefit definitely works in our favor. So I also want to recognize, when it comes to these meetings, I also want to recognize Mr. Dave Brady as well. He decided to retire. I actually met Mr. Brady for the first time when AD Thomas and I went up and met with him and their group. Great guy. Dave, thank you for everything that you've done for the state and your local area. But I want to acknowledge you. If you want to put your camera on and say anything, you're more than welcome to do that at this time.
Sure. Thank you, sir. Yeah, it's been a privilege working for the local Workforce Development Board of Eastern Arkansas and working right along with the state as well. When Eddie spoke a minute ago, he said that, I'd been in the system for 22 years. It's actually been 33. So that's been a long time. I've been able to meet a lot of people, work on national boards, local and state boards as well. And I just really appreciate the opportunity to work with everybody. And it's kind of sad, bittersweet, but I'm looking forward to retiring like we've been talking about and just taking some time off and relaxing. So I certainly appreciate the acknowledgement.
You're welcome. Thank you, Dave. Vice Chairman, that concludes my report. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, thanks, Chad. That was a great report. And I'd like to also, before we ask for the questions, tell Dave thanks for his service and contributions. 33 years is a long time, and you, I am sure, affected so many people over those years. Thanks so much. Any comments or questions for Mr. Brown? Okay, thanks, Chad. As a reminder, if you are a board member that has joined us late after the roll call, please let us know so we can properly document your attendance for the record. Next on the agenda, Director Brown will provide an explanation of the new board member orientation process for this year. Chad, you ready to go again?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So for the board members, trying to think outside the box is really what I'm doing. And we all know that every year at the first board meeting, you guys do an orientation. So this year, I talked to Dr. Childers, I talked to AD Thomas, and I tried to pick their brain. I also talked to Dr. Trina Miles. Just tried to pick their brain on how we can do this differently this year. So this year, I've invited the board members to participate in the WIOA partners meeting that starts this afternoon and ends Thursday. So as I stated in the email, I don't expect anybody to attend all 3 days. If you have other things going on, I definitely encourage you to, because it's a great learning experience of what goes on. You can actually hear from the partners themselves instead of listening to me get up and go through a PowerPoint of the sunshine provision and all that stuff that you guys know about. I just think this is more useful of your time to listen to the partners, discuss what they do on a daily basis. And if you have questions, that's the perfect time to ask. So this year, from my understanding, we have 400 plus people that's going to attend the partners meeting. Also, I've received some emails from 2 or 3 board members saying that they did not get the link or the calendar invite. So I know Tyler Gibbons registered all of the board members. One thing that I noticed, the WIOA partners meeting information hit my spam folder. So y'all go out and check your spam folder just in case. But after today's board meeting, or here in a little bit, I will send all the board members the Zoom link and the calendar invite with the agenda for the partners meeting. So you guys will have it in your inbox. So just wanted you guys to know that, since I've gotten a few emails. But other than that, if you have any questions, let me know and I'll be glad to answer those. Mr. Chair, Vice Chairman, that concludes my presentation.
Okay, thanks, Chad. And are there any other comments or questions on this subject for Director Brown? Okay, so let's move on to the next agenda item. This is an update from WIOA Program Chief Elroy Willoughby regarding program year 2020 to 2023 state plan modifications. Due to the March 15th, 2022 submission deadline, Chairman Anderson directed the Executive Committee to meet, review, and approve the modifications to the state plan. You will remember that Director Brown previously emailed Mr. Willoughby's comments from the Executive Committee meeting to the entire board membership. However, we have asked Mr. Willoughby to repeat his presentation at today's meeting for the benefit of the entire board. So right now, we're going to hear that report.
Thank you, Vice Chair Bull. Am I sharing my screen?
Not yet, but yeah, now you are.
Okay.
I got it. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, members of the board, guests. As Vice Chair Bull indicated, we did convene a meeting of the Exec Committee on March 11th to review and approve our 429-page state plan. This was due to the submission deadline by the U.S. Department of Labor of March 15, 2022. Again, board members will remember that every 2 years, states are required, at least every 2 years, to revise their state plans. And then, of course, every 4 years, the entire plan must be completely rewritten. First, I'd like to publicly thank all of our WIOA partners on the state level, our titles 1, 2, 3, 4, as well as our TANF, our SNAP ENT, and some of our other partners, Trade Adjustment Act. A lot of work went into revising this plan, updating this plan. And I just wanted to share with you some of the changes, the major changes, major component changes in this plan. And as you will see on the screen, I think one of the most important changes that states were asked to make was to address changes in the workforce development system due to the COVID pandemic. As you all know, have read and heard in the news, COVID changed the way we had to do business. It impacted us on how services are delivered. how we meet, how we discuss with our participants, how we do outreach even. So there were a number of places in the revised state plan where we talked about how we're kind of shifting both during COVID, but also in a post-COVID era that we anticipate is on its way. What are states going to do different? And we were very happy to be able to share information of what we did while in COVID, but also give some information on how we're going to try to adjust and be more flexible and assist in this post-COVID era. Another area where we made some changes and some inclusions, business engagement and sector partnerships, states trying to be proactive in addressing the needs of our state's economy and its employer-driven system. Again, trying to expand our sector partnerships and our business engagement strategies. And I will share with you one of the things that we added in this plan that we had not previously included in the plan. We have been working with our state business services lead, Ms. Shanae Johns. She's been getting information about local workforce area business engagement plans and strategies, and we began including those in our state plan this time around. We believe that that's just a very important component of improving our workforce development system. Improve coordination. Again, this is a system. We have to be coordinated and work together on the state and local levels. And it also means that we're just not talking about our WIOA program and partners included in this plan. There are additional partners that we are working towards bringing in, trying to shore up these relationships via some instances. We have signed little MOUs, something that a little short document that both parties will say, I promise to do this, that, and the third, and the other party to that agreement says, well, I will do this, that, and the third as well. So we believe that's improved coordination moving forward is something that we are going to strive towards. One of the things that I really was happy that we were able to include in this state plan revision is the evaluation. We're so thankful that the state board approved commissioning the University of Arkansas in Fayetteville to conduct a workforce system evaluation. Please remember that the federal regulations require that a state take some type of evaluation effort to have a third party review your system, but then also part of that is doing a skills gap analysis. And then the final component is getting feedback from your service population. So that evaluation, as you all will remember, it included all three of those components. So we were able to add in this version of the state plan an analysis of our state's current economic environment, our top 10 industry projections for 2022, wage surveys, projected employment changes, very important, our largest two occupations by local workforce area, projected top growing occupations by local workforce areas, top growing industry sectors by local workforce areas, and then just some general workforce area profiles. And I think that's very important to include that information, because we all know you can go from one corner of the state to the opposite corner of the state, and the demographics and socioeconomic characteristics are vastly different. So I think that's very important information for us to be able to include in our state plan. Coordination, alignment, and provision of services. Again, that evaluation identified the need for collective sources of available resources and services. And one of the things that came to fruition under the COVID pandemic was the newly created statewide community resource portal. And so we're very happy to have that, that website where an individual, John Q. Public, can go out and get a, just search by his county, his region, and the category and find out what available services are out there. We included that in our state plan, as well as a link directly to that report. Coordination, alignment, provision of services to employers. Now, that's a very important as well, because when you look at number 2, we're talking about services to individuals. Well, by the same token, we've got to work on enhancing our services to employers. When the plan was drafted in 2020, we were just on the cusp of beginning to integrate and implement the Salesforce software. We've moved further down the road with that. We believe that's going to be a very important tool to provide services to our business customers and help our ability to track the services that we are providing to them. Improving access to post-secondary credentials. Again, in our original plan, we were able to include some information regarding the Closing the Gap 2020 master plan by the Division of Higher Education. And this plan was developed in accordance with the governor's vision for higher education in the state. Well, there has been an updated version of that plan that has been developed and released. So we were happy to be able to update that in our state plan. It's now called the Align Arkansas 2026. And you will see it has some goals here. By 2030, increase the percentage of adult Arkansans, with college credentials to 55%. Again, we link that in our state plan as well to show the collaboration with our education as well as the goals that they set. We want to be able to, as a workforce development system, support those goals in an attempt to reach that 55% of adult Arkansans with college credentials. And again, that report, we included a link in our state plan there. Here's another report, Arkansas Economic Security Report. Again, provides students and families with employment and income information for recent graduates. Again, trying to provide as much information as we can to both our supply and demand side of our workforce development system. That report link is also placed in the state plan. We even went out and did some research with our Economic Development Commission. We've included some information on some new strategies that they have, the Modern Workplace Program, and then also there's an education economic report. And Ready for Life, one of the things that we weren't able to include in our previous version of the plan, the governor has announced a number of workforce development system related projects. One of most paramount being the Ready for Life initiative. As you can see, he announced that on January 13 of last year. We were able to include some good information in our state plan about this product. And to show just how important this is to the governor, you will notice I've highlighted the section. He allocated $14.7 million out of his emergency education relief funds to support the Ready for Life initiative. And this is a partnership between Chamber of Commerce, Economic Development, Division of Workforce Services, K-12 institutions of higher education. I can tell you that members of the AWDB staff, we've met on numerous occasions with the representatives from Ready for Life. And so we are working very collaboratively on this governor's initiative. And those are just the high points of the plan. And again, 429-page plan. And we would not want to bore you with going through page by page or anything of the like, but we just want to kind of give you the pertinent changes, improvements, revisions in that plan. I think Assistant Director Eddie Thomas mentioned earlier, our federal partners at the Department of Labor has already begun reviewing these plans and began to give us feedback and ask us to make some revisions, add a little more meat on the bone in certain areas, if you will. They've already reached out to several of our partners as well as our WIOA programs. Want to remind the board, this is the normal standard process. Each time you submit a document this massive, there's panels that are reviewing these plans, and as they get areas and say, hey, we kind of need you to touch it up, beef that up, they will go ahead and send that to states so we can be working while they continue to review, because we must remember these plans must go into effect July 1 of 2022. And with that, Vice Chair Bull, I'll be more than happy to entertain any questions that members of the board may have.
Okay, that sounds great. Elroy, I love the Ready for Life. That's one of the things that's been dear to my heart, and the things that I've talked about a lot in my time here. So really glad to see good dollars being spent there and the help being given. And that was a great report. Any questions or comments for that on that presentation for Elroy?
Yeah, this is Miles Crawford. Are we going to be receiving this, or have we already received this report? There are a few things on there that we could probably discuss offline, but I just wanted to brief myself on.
Yes, sir. Mr. Crawford, we include the entire 429-page plan in the agenda book. But however, staff is available if you like to have a one-off and kind of talk through or share some comments that you have. We'd be more than happy to do that, sir.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I don't know that the 429-page document is necessarily I'm wanting to dive. Just a few of these higher level things I'd like to have some further discussion on to help catch me up to speed.
Sure. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Well, I'd like to commend Dr. Childers and her DWS staff for their ongoing efforts to make sure the board stays in compliance and with the modifications of the state plan in accordance with the Department of Labor's guidelines. Thank you, Dr. Childers, and thank you, Chief Willoughby, for the presentation. Next on the agenda is the One Stop Center certification application. The approval of one-stop certification application by the state board is a federal requirement. And Chief Willoughby, you're up again, I think.
Thank you, sir. Thanks again. And members of the board, one-stop center certification application. I will remind, some of you may remember when WIOA came into existence, we developed the original one-stop center certification application. We presented it to the board at the July 2017 meeting. It was approved, and that application has been in use since that time. One of the things that we began hearing from our Department of Labor Dallas Regional Office is that they were encouraging states to take another look at those applications. Again, due to changes born out of the COVID pandemic, the service delivery, the outreach, all of that changed. So Department of Labor said, hey, we're encouraging states, go back and take a look at that, kind of make some changes to kind of bring it up to date, if you will, for lack of a better term. So one of the things that staff did, we began researching other states, kind of looking at some of the inclusions or some modifications or revisions, trying to identify areas that needed to be beefed up, perhaps adding areas that we did not originally have in that 2017 version. And so, Tyler, I'm going to ask you if you would scroll to section B, beginning at page 23, I believe, on the document. I wanted to just kind of point out to the members the section that we kind of beefed up. And one of the reasons why is related to accessibility. One of the reasons why we have heard from our state is toward the middle, just keep going there. We'd heard from our federal project officer in Dallas, ask us, please let's kind of beef up the accessibility version in section B. So I wanted to just kind of point out to you all, just continue to go, it'll be a little bit here. Point out to you all some of those new questions. And while Tyler's scrolling, I would like to, for the record, Vice Chair Bull, federal regulations require that we are to seek comment from continue Tyler, from our local chief elected officials and our local board members. So during one of our recent local workforce director meetings, we discussed this. We sent the document out, this template out to the local directors, and they forwarded on to all of our local CEOs, as well as our local workforce board members. I will tell the board, we received 2 comments. One was from a member of the Arkansas Economic Development Commission. There was just some grammatical errors that he found. So he sent us comments on that. We'll make those changes. And then perhaps most interesting, we actually did receive comments from the mayor of the city of Jasper, Mayor Jan Larson. And she just wanted to share her appreciation and support of the workforce development system. And I thought that was very nice of Mayor Larson to share that with us. We definitely do appreciate any and all of the support that we can get as we try to continue the ongoing development of our workforce development system. And I believe here, if I am able to grab the screen here. Okay, just kind of wanted to point out and show how we beefed up evaluations of the physical and programmatic accessibility. And so we added a series of, I want to say we go down to B12, a number of questions that talk specifically about accessibility. I will tell you, coming from the U.S. Department of Labor, accessibility and inclusion are 2 of their major focuses in the workforce development systems moving forward post-COVID. Some of you will remember AD Thomas shared with you about some of our local areas being chosen by the Department of Labor as well as state staff to do the readiness assessments here several months ago. That consisted of, they sent a template out, asked the state level staff as well as some of our selected local areas to respond to a template of questions. And then they also did an actual interview. But inclusion and accessibility moving forward, very important in the workforce development systems. So there's section B, we beefed that up. Always looking for information on continuous improvement. That's your section C. Quality assurance. One of the things that we also added, while we don't have a requirement per se under federal regulations to do job seeker and business customer satisfaction surveys, we do want to encourage each of our local areas and the one-stop centers to seek ways to get feedback from our customers. Any good business, I mean, you want to know how your customers would rate you, how satisfied they are with whatever services that you've delivered. So we're no different here, even though we are a publicly funded entity. Again, we still want to get feedback from our customers and figure out what can we do better. You know, where did we make some missteps? And it's not criticism, it's feedback. And that's the way we want everyone to receive that. And here's a section I definitely want to make mention of to the board. Completely new section in our one-stop certification. We believe, I previously talked about receiving feedback from our customers, and there may be some things that they identify that we weren't aware of we need to fix. Likewise, we want to be fair. We know that during the COVID pandemic, a lot of our local workforce areas implemented some local practices and implemented some things that we believe would benefit other local areas and the state as well. So we definitely wanted to put in this section here. If you'll see, creation and implementation of virtual tools due to COVID-19, any changes or improvement in partner relationships, business service team efforts, and communication efforts. I will tell the board that we have, during the COVID pandemic, we've had several local workforce areas that have been asked by the federal Department of Labor in Dallas to share some best practices that they implemented. And they were able to share on a regional or national forum best practices emanating from the little bitty state of Arkansas. So we were very proud of those local workforce areas. We want to do a better job of collecting that information and sharing that not only with our WIOA partners inside the state, but also with our Dallas regional office of the Department of Labor. And Vice Chair, Bull, that is my report. And again, I would remind members, this template, if you will approve, it will be used by all of our one-stops, and they must be certified using this template in order to receive and to expend federal Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act funds. And I'll be happy to entertain any questions, Mr. Vice Chair.
Thanks, Elroy. And any questions for the WIOA program chief?
Elroy, this is Karen. What's the projected timeline for getting this implemented?
We would hope to begin doing our certifications once approved today. We would hope to begin our certifications probably around July or so. We do understand that there's some offices that still are not up and running 100%. And one of the things, Ms. Brashears, a certification is really supposed to, a big part of the impact is walk through the center and see how services are delivered, see how foot traffic is led around through the centers. So there's a lot of on-site eyeballing, if you will, that the certification team should be able to do. And that is one of the reasons why we had been kind of holding up on doing this, because I'll be perfectly honest with you, our federal project officer with Department of Labor, she began mentioning this to us last summer. And we were like, well, the certification, it's a lot of eyeballing. Give us a little more time until we kind of get as close back to normal as we think we will. So that's the timeline. And then we would hope to have all of the certifications complete and probably take before the board in the meeting after the July meeting, which would
Thank
be
you, sir.
October 2022 meeting is our plan, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Elroy, you kind of caught me on something you said just a minute. If this is approved today, did you mean that we were going to be voting on this today?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It has to be approved by the board. Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
Okay, it's not in my agenda. So Chad, you got where are we going to be voting on this?
Well, we'll vote on it. If Chief Willoughby is done, then we'll go ahead and go and vote on it. So we're ready for that at that time.
So maybe, if there are no other questions, would that be the next thing on the agenda now to get a motion?
Yes, get a motion in a second and do the roll call.
Okay, so let's do that now. Do I have first, any other questions or comments? Okay, then, so I'd entertain a motion to approve. What are we calling this? The
one-stop center.
One-stop center certification application.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve and a second.
This is Karen Brashear, so moved.
I'll second Miles Crawford.
Okay, everybody got that? Okay, and so I'll turn this over to the staff to get the vote.
Thomas Anderson, Joseph Baxter,
Proxy Christy Lamas, aye.
Lynn Blaylock,
Aye.
Karen Brashears,
Aye.
Scott Bull,
Aye.
Dr. Sharice Childers, Miles Crawford,
Aye.
Judge Brandon Ellison,
Aye.
Randy Finnegan,
Aye.
My apologies, Tyler. Sharice Childers, aye.
thank you. Jeff Griffin, Randy Henderson, Abby Houseworth,
Aye.
Governor Asa Hutchinson, Rebecca Ives,
Aye.
Charles Johnson, Secretary Johnny Key,
Proxy Aaron Franks, aye.
Candace Lawrence,
Aye.
Holly Little, Dr. Maria Markham,
Proxy Alicia Lewis. Aye.
Brian Marsh, Dr. Trina Miles,
Proxy Bridget Kreiner, aye.
George Nunley,
Aye.
Secretary Mike Preston, Dr. Julie Robertson,
Aye.
Mayor James Sanders, Kelly Sharp,
Aye.
Dr. Cassandra Stokes,
Aye.
Robert Thorne. Motion passes.
Mr. Bull, you're muted. Unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you. As our agenda permits, we like to provide an opportunity for our local workforce development areas to provide updates regarding the activities in their local areas. Today, we are excited to hear from two of our local areas, North Central Arkansas and Southwest Arkansas workforce development areas. First, we will hear from staff from the North Central Development Area, Ms. Jan Smith and Ms. Liz Smith. Are y'all ready?
Yes, sir, we are. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Jan Smith, and I'm Liz Smith, and we are not related. I want to make that clear.
I do want to say, though, she wishes we were related, so.
I would question that. We represent North Central Arkansas Local Workforce Board. We actually work for White River Planning and Development District, which is an economic development district located in North Central Arkansas, and our offices are located in Batesville. We were established in 1967, and we work with the mayors and county judges within our 10-county area to promote economic and community development and prosperity. The agency implements various federal and state programs under the direction of our 32-member board of directors, which include the 10 county judges and large city mayors, and then just representatives of their sectors of the economy. In late 2015, our chief elected officials requested that we take on the WIOA program for the area. With little experience as a program provider, we had to quickly hire new staff to serve about 300 participants. WIOA is a very complicated program, as everyone knows, so we had a huge learning curve those first years. With assistance from the state DWS staff and other program operators in the state, we feel we have grown. Those first years were pretty tough, understanding the concept and requirements of WIOA and interpreting those for the local level. WIOA was entirely different from any other federal program we had worked with, such as Department of Commerce, Department of Housing and Urban Development, FEMA, other federal agencies. Today, we would like to share with you some of our successes and how the program impacts the White River area.
And instead of hearing me talk about that, I thought that it would be better for you to hear from your partners and from some of the WIOA participants themselves. So we have created a short video that we would like to share with you all. And Chad, if you can't see this, please let me know.
So far, so good.
Hello, I'm Elizabeth Smith, and I want to tell you my WIOA story. In 2015, I went back to school, but life happened and exploded with a vengeance. Before classes could even start, my family was hit head-on by a drunk driver who was texting. A month into classes, my husband had to have his hip replaced and was not able to work. I felt like I had no choice but to drop out of school and go get a job to provide for my family and keep a roof on our heads. But then I met WIOA. WIOA was able to remove all the financial barriers They helped with a house payment. They helped with gas money to get back and forth to school, for book costs, everything financially that would stop me, WIOA was able to fix. Thanks to WIOA, I have an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, and I'm working on my doctorate now. Thank you, WIOA. We really appreciate these wraparound services for our students, and we like to be able to assist the students, really work our partnership and assist participants for both programs in being successful. We have had a lot of luck with this partnership, and a lot of that is hard work from both sides and preparing our partners, and we look forward to continuing.
Hi, I'm Matt Walker. I'm owner of White River Veterinary Clinic here in Batesville, Arkansas, and we have partnered with North Central WIOA to help the youth in this area, the ones who are interested in becoming veterinarians. It's been a great help, and we appreciate what North Central's done for us and our community.
We are part of the North Central Arkansas region for WIOA, and both offices are fortunate enough to have a WIOA career specialist located in-house. Makes it very easy for us to refer our foot traffic over to the WIOA career specialists to help them further their employment, education, and training needs, to help them go out in the workforce and get a better job within the labor market. Several of our TANF clients have been referred to WIOA, and they performed their work experience right here in our local offices, helping at the receptionist desk and various other duties within the office. We have a great working relationship with White River Planning and Development, and the WIOA program is an awesome program for all citizens of the state of Arkansas.
Hi, my name is Hunt, and the WIOA program completely helped 180 my life for me. I was in pretty bad fun life, and WIOA stepped in, and they offered to put me to college. I accepted. I went to college for welding, and after 2 semesters, I was able to have a job waiting for me at Bad Boy Motors welding, and I absolutely love it. I've been there for a little over a year now, and it's all thanks to WIOA.
Allow me to tell you more about our partnership. Representatives from both UACCB and WIOA are on each other's campus multiple times throughout the week, learning about the various programs that each organization provides. For example, UACCB advisors need to know about the supportive services that are provided through the WIOA programs so that we can advise those students properly and provide them opportunities and information about the supportive resources that are going to be necessary in order for those students to be successful in any short-term or maybe a long-term academic program. Likewise, WIOA representatives are on UACCB's campus, working with our advisors, interacting with faculty and staff and administration, learning about the programs of study and some of the equipment requirements that these specialty technical programs may need. We know that it's because of all of these support services that students that come through the WIOA programs are going to be more successful. They're likely to persist until completion so that they can get into a rewarding career and a high-demand job that will provide them a sustainable living wage.
Hi, I'm Ricky Baker with Landtruck Logistics in Batesville, Arkansas. We're so happy to be partnering with North Central WIOA. We enjoy working with the participants and helping them explore their career opportunities within our community.
Hello, my name is Brian Schonk. I'm the Chancellor at the University of Arkansas Community College at Batesville, and it's my pleasure to just share a few words about the relationship that the college has with White River Planning and Development District, and specifically the WIOA program. You'll notice that I use the word relationship and not partnership. It's not always been that case. I would say when I've been here for 9 years at the college, and it was more of a traditional partnership when I first arrived. But we learned working over the years that we had very common goals. We were serving a lot of the same people, and if we worked together, then we could work harder, communicate better. We could both organizations could reach their goals and serve the people that we do much better. So we worked really hard to establish those relationships, and really a big thank you to Jan and to Liz and to the entire team to be so receptive, to work so closely with us. It's easy to attend meetings. It's easy to have emails back and forth. It's easy to say, you know, I have a student that has a need here. What can you do to help them? Or WIOA reaches out to us. We need some space for a large event. Can we use something on your campus? Those are things that we've always done. But we took it to the next level and we started attending meetings together, holding meetings regularly, sharing opportunities. We learned what each of us could bring to the table. We learned what each of us needed from the other. And we just continue to work and continue to work. And that those partnerships we had originally, it turned into just such a great working relationship. And it's key, it's instrumental, it's helping everybody in our area. I can give you lots of examples of the great things that have happened because of this relationship. I'll leave that to Jen or Liz or others there to tell you at the meeting about what those are. But I just did want to take a few minutes just to tell you how important it is, if we're going to meet the needs of the people we serve, to work together with all of our partners to have good, strong relationships where communication is key, hard work is necessary, but we're able to use all of our resources leveraged together to have great outcomes. Hope you enjoy the rest of your meeting. I appreciate taking just a few minutes of your time to listen to me. Thank you very much.
Okay, again. Okay. We appreciate all of our partners being willing to participate and do these short videos for you, kind of telling you what role they play and how we all work well together. Dr. Shank and Dr. Harbour described the significance of partners and relationships working as a team to strengthen the impact of the WIOA program for individuals. A recent example of this possibility with this program is an economic development activity in Independence County that we participated in. The county judge was unable to attend a very important meeting several weeks ago and asked if Mitzi Hargan, our community development director, Dr. Zach Harbour from UACCB, and myself to go to Lebanon, Missouri to meet with a potential business interested in coming to Arkansas. We met with the Arkansas Economic Development Commission representatives, another partner of our agency, and the company to explain the state, county, local incentives that would be available to them if they expanded into Arkansas and created new jobs. Through the education and training programs provided at UACCB and the work experience apprenticeships and supportive services offered through our WIOA program, we would be able to help build the labor force for their needs. Late last week, Independent Stave Company announced plans to build a mill in Locust Grove near Batesville, investing more than $30 million in the facility and creating 60 new jobs. The mill will produce staves for bourbon and wine barrels out of white oak, a plentiful natural resource in Arkansas. We are very excited about the new company for the state and our county and feel that we will be a strong partnership with them as they move to Arkansas and create the 60 jobs. Thank you for your time today. We're available if you have any questions.
Thanks, Jan and Liz. Actually, I'd like to state that based on y'all's stand-up routine at the start, I think you could take the show on the road. You might even get a reality show. I'm not sure, but it was that was pretty fun and awesome. But second comment from me is Elizabeth and Hawk's story is what all of this is all about. Listening to those two talk about how you folks came alongside them and helped them get their lives in order and be able to take care of themselves and their families and move forward with some kind of a career plan. Just two more awesome stories to add to the thousands that I heard over my 8 years here. Anybody else have any comments or questions? Okay, then thanks for joining us and thanks for that update. Next, we will hear from the staff from the Southwest Arkansas Development Area, Ms. Renee Dicus and Ms. Shelda Garland. You guys are up.
Okay. Good morning, everyone, and wonderful job, North Central. Thank you for this opportunity to share some of Southwest area's successes. Now, as you well know, CDL truck driving is a very high demand occupation across the nation and has been one of Southwest's most successful short-term training programs. We have invited Paul Harness, a former WIOA dislocated worker participant, to speak on his dynamic experience and success of this training program, and to also share his testimony of how WIOA services are life-changing at times when it's most needed. Now, Mr. Harness is a reminder to our career planners, our board members, the CEOs, partners, and all of us why we do what we do, and that what we do makes a difference in the lives of the people we serve. When working on ever-changing policies and procedures, we picture individuals like Mr. Harness, and we are encouraged to press on because we know a life can be changed. At the height of a pandemic, Mr. Harness's life took a drastic turn, but who better to tell the story than him? Without further ado, please welcome Mr. Paul Harness.
How are you doing, Mr. Bull and the board? Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, sir, I sure can.
Okay, I didn't know. I kind of ducked off here where I could, come to the board. I just want to say my name is Paul Harness. My relationship got started with WIOA in September 2020 with Miss Lori White in the Hope office. I got displaced from my job as a hotel general manager here in Texarkana for 12 years when COVID came in the previous year. At that time, kind of didn't know what I wanted to do. And then I got hit with a head-on collision when my wife got diagnosed with breast cancer. So, I was out of a job, and I went to Miss Lori White and sat down and we had a conversation. And at that time, I really didn't know where to go and what to do because I was in the process. I have a 10-year-old daughter, and my wife and I were going through an adoption for a son that I now have. I just want everybody to take a look at this. I'm going to share my screen because this is why I get up and I go to work. This is my family. This is my daughter. This is my son, Scotland, whom I adopted while my wife was going through breast cancer. I owe my life and everything else to Lori and to Miss Garland and to everybody that worked for WIOA because she was able to allow me, after I had exhausted a lot of my funds, sending my wife through the breast cancer and all of that to truck driving school. Right now, I work for Coca-Cola Southwest Beverage, where I'm the safety director and instructor for 125 drivers for Paris and Texarkana. They saved my life, my son, because at that time I was pretty depressed, really didn't know which way to go. And it was life-changing for me. And from that point on, I made it a point to come to all of the board meetings. And I told Ms. Garland that anything that I could do to help facilitate, helping change someone else's life, that's what I wanted to do, from this point forward. I'll be 54 years old here in a couple days. And, my family is my life, but I will say that the time and the effort that the ladies put in, Ms. White, Ms. Garland, the whole Southwest Arkansas, it's a value added. And I think, I'm living proof of it. And I appreciate the time to share my story. And like I said, if it's anything that I can do, Chairman Bull, I'm here in Texarkana. Here I am. I'm like Jeremiah. Here I am. Send me.
Paul, that's a great story, man. That's what this is all about. You're exactly right. I'm so happy for you. Are we back to Sheldon now?
Yes, sir. First, I just want to thank Mr. Harness again for making himself available to share his testimony with us today, and thank the board for allowing us to share our success. Thank you. Everyone have a good day.
Sheldon, thank you so much. And again, I don't know how we can't say it too many times. These are the stories that that indicate to us that we're on the right track, that we've got the right people, and that we're doing the right things. And I'm so proud of these two reports. Shelda, thanks for joining us today and for giving that report. Does anyone else have any comments or questions? Okay. Well, we agreed that we would keep a standing agenda item for members to engage in discussion of topics of interest to them at each meeting. Does any board member have a subject that they would like to bring up that we have not discussed, or even that we have discussed?
I do, Mr. Bull.
Yes.
Hi. I'm Candace Lawrence. I'm with the Arkansas State Chamber of Commerce, and I wanted to let the board know that we have scheduled our 62nd annual Washington Fly-In for May 10th through 12th. And this is a tremendous networking opportunity. It is a chance for you to fly to Washington, D.C. with the State Chamber, meet with the Arkansas Federal Delegation one-on-one. We will be networking, have a Chiefs of Staff reception, congressional reception, and we'll be meeting with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. And I know when I attended this past year, I did speak directly with people directly dealing with the United States workforce development issues. It was powerful, it was impactful, and I highly encourage any one of our board members to go to the State Chamber website and sign up for this tremendous event. The agenda's on our website. I can also link the registration link below if you'd like to find out more information, but we have scheduled that, and I hope to see you all on the flight.
Candace, thanks for that invitation. And I would encourage all of you to get to Washington, D.C. someday to participate in one of these fly-ins. The opportunity to do that with the Chamber is a great opportunity. I did it with NADCA, North American Die Casting Association. I did it with NAM, National Association of Manufacturers. And I think I have the record for the most senators and representatives visited in a 2-day period. They exhausted me. So get on the list to go do something like this. It is awesome, and your voice needs to be heard. And it's great that they give you the opportunity to come and do that with them. So Candace, thanks again. Anyone else have another subject or any comments about what Candace said? Okay, and so as a new addition to our board open discussion, Director Brown has asked staff to include any WIOA related policies that have been released by AWDB on our meeting agendas. While these policies do not require board approval, we have begun adding them to the meeting agenda packet as an FYI for board members. I direct your attention to the Arkansas high poverty areas from 2016 to 2020 American Community Survey policy that is included in your agenda book. Are there any questions for staff regarding this policy? Okay, I promised at the beginning of this meeting that we would open the floor for any of the public listening if anyone would like to address the full board. Now is your opportunity. Is there anyone out of the public that would like to address the board?
And members of the public, if you will find the little microphone sign, if you would unmute that, you will be able to, the board will be able to hear your comments. And I don't see or hear any, Vice Chair Bull.
Okay. Thanks, Elroy. So the next full board meeting is scheduled for July the 19th, 2022. Board staff will provide additional information at a later date. I would like to thank each of you for your participation. This concludes today's business. Is there any other business that we have not brought up that someone thinks we should? Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved by Kelly Sharp.
And a second?
Karen Brashears.
Thanks, Karen. I will now ask staff to conduct a roll call to record your vote for this motion. Board members, please respond aye or nay or abstain when your name is called. Proxy representatives, please respond by stating proxy, followed by your name for the record, and when you hear your board member's name called.
Thomas Anderson, Joseph Baxter,
Proxy Christy Lamas, aye.
Lynn Blaylock,
Aye.
Karen Brashears,
Aye.
Scott Bull,
Aye.
Dr. Sharice Childers,
Aye.
Miles Crawford,
Aye.
Judge Brandon Ellison,
Aye.
Randy Finnegan, Jeff Griffin, Randy Henderson, Abby Houseworth,
Aye.
Governor Asa Hutchinson, Rebecca Ives,
Aye.
Charles Johnson, Secretary Johnny Key,
Proxy Aaron Franks, aye.
Candace Lawrence,
Aye.
Holly Little, Dr. Maria Markham,
Absolutely. Proxy Alicia Lewis, aye.
Brian Marsh, Dr. Trina Miles,
Proxy Bridget Kreiner, aye.
George Nunnally,
Aye.
Secretary Mike Preston, Dr. Julie Robertson,
Aye.
Mayor James Sanders, Kelly Sharp,
Aye.
Dr. Cassandra Stokes,
Aye.
Robert Thorne. Motion passes.
Okay, the motion to adjourn this meeting of the Arkansas Workforce Development Board has passed, and we are now adjourned. Thank you for your participation, and goodbye, and I will see you guys in the world somewhere. Thanks a lot.